Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. We're doing a virtual panel discussion on best practices for maintaining customer relationships. Many thanks to Mary Beth Conwell, Dan Flatt, and JD Isles for being with us today to share their insights, and to all of you for joining in. Please note this webinar is being recorded to share what we learned today with the business community. We hope you will enjoy the format of our event this morning. Mary Beth, Dan, and JD will take about 5 to 7 minutes each to share their experiences with you, followed by 30 to 45 minutes for participants to ask questions, share comments, contribute ideas, and for additional discussion. During this time, you may join in with your audio and video or utilize the group chat. Just a reminder, when others are speaking, please keep your audio on mute to minimize background noise. And with that said, I will turn it over to Mary Beth.
Good morning, everyone. This is very nice to be asked to do this. We have definitely maintained our customer relations in various ways, especially through this pandemic. We have learned to be way more creative than we ever thought we could be, and I'm sure most of you are feeling the same, being in the business communities, that we try to figure out how we're going to sell when, in fact, my store was closed for the 9 to 10 week duration. So it was difficult during that time, but very inspirational at the same time. My glass, I try to keep half full most of the time, so we did find some positive ways to reach out to our customers. The first thing that I actually did was I realized I now have the time to reach out to my 100 top customers. So appreciate that. So I was able to take the time to handwrite personal notes. I then reached out to local businesses and asked for gift cards from them, other businesses that might have been closed at the same time. And I included gift cards into my top 100 customers, and letting them know that I just genuinely cared about them, hoped that they could maintain their health and stay home and be positive. So that was just one of the things we did. The next thing we did was, because we couldn't be in the store and we couldn't let customers in, we came up with Facebook Live events, and that was really interesting. You could have never told me I was going to do that, but we figured out a way to actually sell on Facebook, and it ended up being a very positive way. I think if you're in the business community and haven't done this, this was a very, very smart thing for us to do, in the sense that we actually were able to sell and then ship our items out during the time. And we're going to continue to do events along the way. We'll have one next Tuesday, focusing on our graduate gifts and Father's Day, etc. So it's a way, if you can't get in during normal business hours, we usually hold it in the evening. It's a fun event. But that reached out to our customers across the country, which was really interesting. We were selling jewelry throughout. It didn't matter if somebody's sister was in Texas or Maine, we were shipping to them. Florida, it was really positive. So that was a really good event. Some of the other things that we did was we wanted to make sure we reached out to our healthcare heroes. As you see, we have them pictured here. We also did a tutorial on how to keep your jewelry clean. So you see Maggie with my granddaughter there, showing everybody how to keep their jewelry clean at home, and different ways that we would post through social media while everyone was home, what they could be doing, things that they can do even now that our store is open if they're home and they need to do a quick cleaning. So tutorials were really important. Reaching out to our healthcare heroes was important, because we did offer some free gifts with our Facebook Live if you were a healthcare hero, and just really wanted to stay connected with everyone while our doors were closed, and letting people know, reassuring them that if there was something that they needed, love is essential. Even though we were not open, we felt that if you needed something and if we could ship it to you, we made sure through social media, through our emails and Facebook, etc., that you could text us if there was something special you needed. So there was many ways we've reached out to our customers, and those are some of the examples of how we did that. So it was really important to us to stay connected. People were concerned for us. It was very humbling to have everyone, calling or asking those that knew us personally and wanting us to succeed through this time. And it was really, really positive. And out of a lot of negativity, there was certainly a lot of positive, creative ways that we found to reach our customers. Another thing that we were able to do, or that I was able to do because I did have some time, was to create a new necklace. So I was able to take some time, and we created a necklace that was important for our customers, and it was all about our customers, and it was called the hug necklace. So people could now find something that they can't do. No one can give hugs right now. So for us to create something that symbolizes something that people still want to have a relationship with. So reaching out to our customers with a hug necklace was really important to us, and it's been successful. And that beautiful woman modeling her hug necklace is my mom, and she desperately needed a hug. So it was important for us to think about what is it that our community is going to need and want from each other, and creating a new piece of jewelry was another way to reach out for us. So trying to think some of the other videos. So the live Facebook events, very, very important. Reaching out to my customers with a handwritten notes. I wish I could have done to every single one of my customers. Everyone has been very, very supportive. We have made sure, even with the signs I see there, you're putting up our hope rainbow that we had put on there. We really wanted to reach out to everybody in a symbol and make sure that you understood that we're in this together, that we were going to all get through this together. We couldn't be happier to be open today and have you all be able to come in, and trying to find other ways to reach out to customers that aren't coming in right now are still, we're still thinking and being creative with that. That's why we'll do another Facebook Live event this Tuesday. So just thinking out of the box, doing what we did was very helpful, and we're going to remain in this community. We're going to push forward and thinking positive and coming up with new ways. That was a nice picture that somebody had posted, the one with the gift card of one of our handwritten notes. So it was important to reach out to our customers to let them know that we were still there. So I think encouraging people, for any of you out there that are questioning it, we should, remain positive and do what we need to do. So we were, doing what we could to stay open and positive and create sales. So I think my time is probably up. So great.
Mary Beth, this is Kamala. Could you talk a little bit about, since you're in the retail sector and kind of representing them on this discussion, could you talk a little bit about how it's been now that you're able to, kind of have a little bit more retail available, and what you're looking forward to, moving forward in terms of how you're adjusting, with people once they're able to come in the store, and like what kind of adjustments were made with regards to that?
Certainly. Right now, we, as you see pictured, we all are wearing our masks in the store with the customer. We still will. We have, many customers now that it's only open 1 week, but we have many customers still reluctant to come out. So we will do that drop off, the easy pickup, as is on the screen that we're showing there. So we are adapting in all sorts of ways, but communication is the biggest part of it, Kamala, for me. We love our customers that will call ahead and say, can I make an appointment, so that, they can be the only ones that we're focused on and we're not running from, place to place. But just ask the question. We will work with you. We're all new to this. It's really important for everyone to understand that we have to figure this out together, both retailer and customers. So being very positive and telling me what your concerns are, or any one of our associates, is really important. So if you're not comfortable coming in and you want us to photograph and send you via text messages or email pictures so that we can continue business with you, then we'll do that. We will think outside of the box and we'll do it together. So that's what we're encouraging our customers.
Thanks, Mary
And
Beth.
how we're doing that. Yeah.
I love too that you've really expanded your offerings to try to maintain your customer base and even grow it. I think that can be really scary under normal circumstances for a business to try something new, but I love that you've really taken this as an opportunity to continue to do some of the things that worked while you were under, restrictions, and see how moving forward, you'll have kind of a mix of the old way of doing business and the new way of doing business to kind of best serve your clients. So we appreciate that.
Exactly.
Someone had a question in the chat room. Did you actually purchase the gift cards from the businesses to put some money in their revenue stream, or did you ask them for the gift cards?
No, I purchased all of them. Yeah, I felt that was very important. I like many of my customers that want us to continue, that called and that were being supportive. I, in fact, wanted to do the same. So I wish I could have done all of our local businesses, but I did pick a select group and use them, and people were, very appreciative of that. So I was grateful to be able to do it too. We, where were we going to pay for advertising when our store was closed? So, I just wanted to do a positive thing for local business and other businesses like ourselves, and help them out as well. So it was really very cathartic for myself to be able to do that. So
I bet that's wonderful. The response from the person who asked the question was, warms my heart.
oh, great.
Thank you, Mary Beth. And now we'll move on to Dan.
Hello. So what I would like to talk about today is, what we decided to do once we learned that there was a lockdown in New York. We filed immediately for essential status, as we provide printing service for the primary printer for both of the healthcare systems, R&I and Guthrie. And we also work with a lot of financial institutions, which were finishing annual reports and had work that needed to get done. We were awarded the essential designation. However, as everybody else has experienced, our orders in late March, April, and May were about 55% less than the year before. So as soon as they offered the PPP plan, we did apply for that. We were granted that. Our staff has been full staff since the beginning. But I had a lot of people and a lot of equipment standing around doing nothing. And if you're a business owner, whether it's retail or in manufacturing, it's a pretty bad situation to walk through a shop and hear nothing. So I thought to myself, well, maybe I can do like something like banners for Corning, because I had seen some Facebook posts in other areas where somebody had done that. So I reached out to Corning, where I was. They were like super excited. I said, listen, I don't want to charge anything. I just work. And then I reached out to my wife out to school. And then Notre Dame, when for years. And they all were excited. We called our ice, and we called Elvira, and everybody was on board. So we've been doing 22 for schools. And I got talking to Guthrie and Arnott, and I said, wouldn't it be cool if we could expand the reach to your service areas? Because it goes up into the west and Guthrie goes to the south and up into Cortland County. And they were both 100% on board. I negotiated some aggressive pricing for materials, and came down to about $2.50 for a banner. And I also then reached out to a couple credit unions that we serve, First Heritage, Corning Credit Union, and ServU, and they were all on board. And so together we were able to go over 4,000 banners. I asked to help my team in designing all these, and which is hundreds of hours of time, because each banner was unique. And then we reached out to schools. So we bought schools at first. I think most schools were like in Pennsylvania who had no idea what multimedia services was, thought it was a scam. And
Dan,
yeah.
It's Keely here. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Do you tend to be breaking up? Your audio is either coming in really well or it's breaking up. I don't know if you can make a shift or check on the Wi-Fi. It's okay. It's just kind of inconsistent.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. I had no issues before. Is that any better?
Yeah, you're clear now. And I think if everybody could, it does sometimes help with the bandwidth if everyone pauses their video and mutes their microphone. So we'll get through it. It's just your message is so important. I want to make sure we can hear it.
Okay.
Thanks. You're good now.
I'm a Luddite with technology, so if I have to do something, I'm in trouble.
Well, we can hear you now, so thanks.
Okay, so we called all these schools, and a lot of them who were in Pennsylvania or Portland, they had no idea who we were. They thought it was a scam. We put an email together that basically mentioned the what we're offering. The schools that had already signed up, which producers that were already doing it, our partners who were serving them in these areas. So we finally got 48 schools in 7 counties to sign up, and we were able to produce a Facebook community page where schools can post videos, and they're starting to do so. And so the cool thing is we've now produced 4,200 plus banners at a retail value of $120,000 at no charge to students or schools. I found this to be just the process that allows us to do some good work. Is that not working?
Yeah, you're still breaking up a little bit, Dan. We can skip to JD and then we can come back to you if that would work.
Okay. All right. Let me.
Yeah. See, it's in really clear sometimes, and then it breaks up. So I don't know if it's like a loose connection or maybe your internet is just not as consistent at the moment as it needs to be. But go ahead and work on that, and we'll put JD on.
Okay.
All right. Thanks.
Sorry.
It's not your fault. Thank you.
All right, hopefully everybody can hear me and I won't be all broken up. I want to thank everybody for asking me to do this. I really, really appreciate it. I think a lot of you know who I am. I'm a real estate agent with Keller Williams, Southern Tier and Finger Lakes. And I am also host of a Facebook Live show that I've been doing for the past 3 years, more or less. It's on every Friday morning at 9 a.m., and it's called Hidden Landmarks. And it basically just talks about local history. And the reason I started doing Hidden Landmarks is because I wanted to have a way to interface with my present, past, and future customers that didn't have to do with, hey, do you want to buy or sell a house? I wanted something else to talk to them about. And it's worked extremely well. Almost all of my business now comes from Hidden Landmarks. So the message I want to give you is I didn't need to change anything about what I was doing marketing wise when the coronavirus hit. And I'm not saying this in a snarky way. I'm saying we've got a unique opportunity right now, because right now all of our businesses are gearing up, but we are all not at full capacity yet. So this gives you the opportunity to come up with kind of a new presence online, a new way to interact with people, kind of like what I did with Hidden Landmarks. So as a real estate agent, typically what real estate agents do with Facebook Live is they do, and Emily, I think we're fighting each other on, hold on, I think we're fighting each other on advancing the screen. Oh, now I'm messing it all up. Hold on. All right. So typically what real estate agents do is they use Facebook Live for home tours, open houses, that type of thing. They talk about the home buying process. I really thought that I could do something a little bit different. I was really hoping that I could do something better. So basically what I did was, I kind of searched my brain. I said, what's a topic everybody would like hearing about? And I specifically wanted to come up with a show that I could do every single week, so it would bring people back week after week and let me spend a little bit of time with them. And back on August of 2017, I did a Facebook Live about the history of the Brand Park Pool, and it got something like 6,000 views. And I was like, okay, so now we have a ball game. This is something I can do. And I've been doing Hidden Landmarks ever since. I have an incredible connection with the people that watch me on a consistent basis. I think they reach out to me all the time. And like I said, the majority of my business now comes from people who are fans of Hidden Landmarks. Now, the reason I'm saying all this is a lot of the people out in the business community are people in Chemung County are starting to experiment with this format. Mary Beth at K Jewelers just started doing Facebook Lives, and that's fantastic.
But you Ray Jewelers.
What did I say? Did I say, I'm sorry, Ray Jewelers. Sorry, Mary Beth. So, I think we in Chemung County should start thinking about ourselves as TV shows or Facebook Live shows that just happen to have businesses attached to them. Facebook Live is incredibly popular right now. Facebook pushes out lives to almost everybody you're attached with on Facebook. And it is an incredible, powerful lever that you can use. And I really don't care what your business is. Even if you feel that your business might not be super interesting, you can always do a show about something else. What you really want to do is you want to create people that follow you on a consistent basis. And then when they have a need for your goods or services, you will be there and they'll reach out to you. So a lot of the organizations I'm involved with right now started doing Facebook Lives for the first time. The Chemung County Historical Society really had never done Facebook Lives before the COVID crisis. And they said, okay, well, we need a way to stay in touch with people. Exact same thing with Tanglewood. They had not done a lot of Facebook Lives prior to this, but like a lot of organizations, they're starting to use that as a very, very valuable tool. So then there are the businesses. So Teal's Tavern has started doing both Facebook Lives and videos, and Rye Bar and Restaurant has thrown their hat into the ring as well. And we need to see more of this. You know, I think all of us have some kind of watchable quality. All of us have something interesting that we can talk about. People don't do business with businesses. I think people do business with people that they like. And if you can come up with a way to regularly pop onto someone's phone and have a little bit of an interaction with them, that pays on down the line, both in goodwill and in dollars. And certainly Julie from the Christmas House has been doing Facebook Lives for a while now, and I think she will also agree that it is a much different and unexpectedly powerful way to deal with customers. This is like its own secret weapon. This is actually a seminar that I teach real estate wise. If anybody would like to sit in on one of those seminars, I do them on Zoom. Just email me, and I'll let you know the next time that I do one. Does anybody have any questions? I think everybody should be doing a show on Facebook. I think everybody should be doing a show on Facebook. Does anybody have any questions?
JD, it's Kamala. I wanted to maybe have you explore a little bit more what you said about, you know, people want to do business with people, not with businesses. Because I feel like that is something that's very important, especially in this community. It is really about building those interpersonal relationships. And I know from a Chamber of Commerce perspective, that's one of the things that we see in the events that we host and in the connections that we help to cultivate, is that, you know, people are more likely in this community specifically to do business with people that they trust and that they like and that they feel like have, you know, the best intentions. So I don't know if you could talk about that a little bit more, because I think having that earnest kind of relationship really makes a difference. And I think, you know, Mary Beth, it's the same thing with Ray Jewelers, having those personal relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, we're at a unique point in history for businesses. And the unique point we're at is everybody has this in their pocket. And this is their remote control for their entire life. But the thing most businesses aren't using this for is we are not thinking about this as a billboard in someone's pocket. We are not thinking about this as a TV station in everybody's pocket that we can have a significant amount of control over. So, you know, the basic idea of what I did with Hidden Landmarks is I said, okay, how can I create a show that's watchable, that people will watch on a regular basis? My show's on weekly. It's on the same time every week, 9 a.m. on Fridays. Because if I have people that come back to me again and again and again to watch Hidden Landmarks, I become a little small part of their lives. I am on their phone consistently. They're actually inviting me into their home and into their world consistently. And if you can do that, the next time they need you for something, they will come and ask. Because I think everybody that follows me Hidden Landmarks wise knows that I'm a real estate agent. Trust me, I work it into the show every once in a while. But, you know, I think that's the thing. We all have, you know, personalities, either TV or movies, that we always say, my God, I'd love to have them over for dinner. It would be amazing to talk to them, etc., etc. We're all a little starstruck. We can actually grab a little piece of that. You know, none of us are going to be Robert Downey Jr. or whatever, but we can grab a little piece of that, and people can be interested in us and the things we like and the things we talk about. And we can have a little relationship with them, even if you've never met them.
JD, there was just a quick question in the chat in terms of time frame. How long should the Facebook Live session be? What is ideal?
It can, there's no right answer to this. You know, I will say that you should do whatever you're comfortable with, and you're going to figure it out as you go. That sounds terrible, but it's true. So I'm coaching someone right now. It's another real estate agent who's going to start doing this, and they're going to do some type of cooking show. And, you know, I basically said, listen, you can keep this really simple. You can do this in 5 minutes. You can say, here's what I'm going to be throwing on the grill today. And it can be that simple. But people love cooking, and they get very engaged, and they start to ask questions and everything else. And then as he goes along, he is going to figure out what the right length is. My show is typically 20 minutes, unless I get so distracted by how amazing the Zim house is in Horseheads that I end up going for 40 minutes without even realizing it. You know, 20 minutes is a good length, but I would say 5 minutes or 3 minutes is good if it lets you dip your toe into this world and see how powerful it is.
Thank you, JD. I'm going to check back with Dan if we may. Thank you so much.
All right, I have learned my lesson. I am on fiber now and not on wireless.
Awesome, Dan. Thank you so much. You sound great.
Sorry.
That's okay.
So I have no idea what people heard. I don't want to say it all over again, but I guess.
Honestly, Dan, I think you can start from the beginning because it was cutting in and out throughout. So just go ahead and, if you don't mind, start from the beginning.
Sure. All right. So our business is we're B2B. And so first, in response to JD, I would say that in my customer base, they want to deal with businesses that are consistent. They have integrity and accountability. You hope that they like you, but what they love is the fact that they have 1,000 hats that they wear, and the one hat has to do with printing. They don't have to worry about it. They give it to me, and you own it. So there is a balance between being likable and being dependable. So we were, when this lockdown happened, we registered as essential. So we've been employed. Our employees have been working full time right from the beginning. But our orders over last year were down 55% in March, April, May. And so I'm walking through the shop and seeing, nothing happening, no machines working. And of course, my process has always been to invest in my plant and my people. So we have a lot of redundancy built in. We have a lot of capacity because our customers' demands are not linear. And so I had a lot of machines that were standing idle. We got our PPP plan. So we had payroll covered for 8 weeks, but I had so many less orders that I started thinking about what can we do as a goodwill gesture that's to somebody that's not our core customer, but would benefit our community and maybe benefit the families of those customers, and that would be seniors and banners. And I had seen some posts on Facebook about teachers or principals that had done this for their schools, and I said, this is a great idea. I reached out to Corning, where I live and my daughter goes to school, and they were excited about it. I reached out to Horseheads, where my wife and I went to high school. I reached out to Notre Dame. They've been great customers. And then I also reached out to Elmira Heights and Elmira, and they all were on board. And of course, they all know us. So it wasn't a hard sell, and we're doing it for free. So they were like extremely appreciative. And then I got thinking about it, and I said, what if we thought bigger? What if we figured, let's take this to a larger area And I reached out to Guthrie and I reached out to Arna and I said, I've got a cost of banners down to $2.50. If you guys are willing to help us purchase more materials, you know, the ink and the banner material and the grommets, we'll produce more banners. And your service areas go all the way down in Pennsylvania, Bradford and Tioga and Cortland County, up into Steuben, Schuyler, and just a little bit of Broome. And they said, that's a great idea. We'll give you X number of dollars, purchase those banners. And I wasn't able to get the whole thing done with that. So I reached out to a couple credit unions that are customers of ours. And we have First Heritage, Corning Credit Union, and Servview. And they all said, yeah, awesome, we'll do this. And so with the money that we were able to raise from them, we were able to increase our production of banners from what I was originally committed to do myself, 1,400, to about 4,200 banners. And so we got to calling all these schools, and most of the schools had no idea who we were, and they thought this was some kind of a scam. And so we kind of put an email together and said, okay, this is what we're willing to do. These are the schools that have already signed on and are on board. So that kind of reduced the risk for them to work with us. And then we also said, these are our partners, and these partners are serving you in your communities. And we were ultimately able to get 48 out of 53 schools to sign up. Like I said, 4,200 banners, a retail value of about $120,000 at no cost to the schools or the students. And that was a big thing for me. I just didn't want anybody to have to pay anything. So we produced about 1,000 banners a week for over 4 weeks. And we were able to create a Facebook page, community Facebook page, where these schools are now posting how they've presented these banners. Elmira's put theirs up. I think Horsetts is putting theirs up in a few days. Corning just had their celebrations. We've gotten videos from Wyalusing. I've got from Wellsboro, Homer and Cortland, Hornell. It's just been an amazing, really amazing process for us and our employees and our customers, because we're kind of giving the halo of this goodwill to everybody who we serve, and especially the partners that joined us in this process. I mean, it's all upside and all good news. I just finished a book called Great by Choice from Jim Collins, and he's had a number of books, the first one being Good to Great. And he mentioned something in this book about ROL. And of course, as a business student, everybody knows ROI, but ROL is return on luck. And what he found was the great companies find a way to get a higher return on good luck, because every company gets their share of good luck and bad luck. But the great companies also find a way to get a good return on bad luck. Good companies will get a return on good luck, and they'll stave off a horrible situation with bad luck. And poor companies never capitalize on either. So I think the one thing that I've learned is that we all have things that come into our lives that affect our businesses materially. What we do with those can determine whether we become a good company, a poor company, or a great company. And obviously my goal is to become a great company and to do things that benefit others. That book was Great by Choice. So, but we did this, and we've been successful. I think Vesta will be delivered on Friday. That is our last school. My employees are certainly glad that this is done, but we have had just so many people. We've had thank you cards from Marathon, New York, up by Cortland. A friend of my parents, her son works there. I mean, it's just amazing that it's touched a lot of people, and it's just been our employees find worthwhile work when there is no worthwhile work. And so we're starting to see business pick up. The great thing is that at the end of the day, our orders have been down 50%, but my sales have only been down 5% over last year. And that's because we've had some huge jobs that come in from places that I did not expect. And it has blessed our team. We also signed up to do free open signage for local businesses. We've had 100 or so people take advantage of that on our website. We just, and we partnered with WENY TV on that. And then we just started a process with Big Fox to produce 500 or 1,000 disposable menus for restaurants that are just starting to open up, that will allow them to have another product that they don't have to pay for to get going. Because at the end of the day, they may not be my customers, but our community needs these small businesses, needs our small businesses to survive and ultimately thrive, for us to continue to have a community that we can all be proud of, that can grow. My last thought would be, my pastor at his tabernacle in Horseheads has always said that it's about seed time and harvest. And honestly, I believe it 100%. We try to do the right things for people without asking anything in return, but in some way, God always takes care of us. So I just wanted to leave by saying I'm blessed.
It's a really remarkable story, Dan, and I'm so glad that you really have shown, how important it is that we invest in each other as small businesses and as part of the region. I know one of the things that's made us really happy is seeing so much support, especially for the restaurant industry, who's really had tons of upheaval, where it's like, first they were closed, then they could do to-go orders. Now it's, in curbside pickup. Now it's outdoor dining, and we're, having executive orders come out that allow them to even be able to do that. So the industry's been really reeling, but I think it's been encouraging to see at a time when we're not necessarily importing wealth into our region through tourism, which is really crucial, but we are circulating the wealth that we have. And I think that what you're doing is part of that. Like, you received the PPP, you were able to pay your employees, you were able to do these projects with your partners to kind of keep things moving. And I think that's really was a critical decision that you made, that's been made things better for our region. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dan and JD and Mary Beth. We will now move on into our open discussion. Please feel free to turn your audio and video on during your question or comment and mute while others are speaking. I will also take a look into the chat area and mention anything that gets put in there, and we'll get that started now. I'm going to get started here by just looking at a few of the comments that have gone into the chat room. It looks like Julie Del Grosso said that she's been doing Facebook Live for 3+ years, and she's found that you don't need to make it perfect. It's almost better if it's not. And then with timing, she also mentioned that it does depend on the subject. Most of us have 3 to 5 minutes to spare, but perhaps not 30 minutes. Depends on the subject. And we have certainly had more time during our lockdown.
Yes. So in response to that, we had no idea how long we should do this. I had a couple of fellow jewelers across the country that had kind of coached me on our Facebook Live, and they had indicated that they went anywhere from 1.5 hours to 2 hours, which I thought was going to be extremely painful amount of time to be on doing that. But we really selected, so from a retail perspective and trying to sell product, we selected 24 items. We weren't sure how long it was going to go, and to Julie's point, we winged it, and we posted numbers, and we realized the numbers ended up being inverted backwards. So we made mistakes, we learned from them, and we went forward, but it didn't inhibit any of our sales. All 3 that we have done so far have all been just about 1 hour and 20 minutes, 1.5 hours. So I would have thought that was an extreme amount of time, but we had such positive feedback. Our customers, it was presented, some of which took it as like a happy hour. Some were grabbing their coffee and tea and just joining in on a night where maybe they didn't have to watch the news and were looking at pretty jewelry. So I think in answer to that question about the time, I think it does depend on what you're selling and how much detail you need to give each item.
We just had a question in the chat room. I'm interested to know how you are cultivating team building and gathering buy-in from your staff for these changes. Each of your stories are about pivoting your business, which is essential during this time.
Do you want to go, Dan? I just was chatting.
Well, so one of the, again, we're business to business. So my potential customer base might be 1,000 people. And our strength in the marketplace is the fact that I have very low turnover, and I have a staff that is extremely stable. And I compensate them very well because of the value they bring to not only myself, but our customers. So we deal with like a few customers that are dealing with us almost daily. And the fact that we have consistency in those employees allows us to become much more valuable to our customers. One of the things that we have done is we've been at full time, but we've been working split shifts, and we've been working 32 hours each a week, and because we have to have the shift split for the essential status in New York State. And by working 32 hours, I gave them a raise, but they also are on work share, and so they're qualified for the $600 stimulus program. And so they will have like 4 or 5 weeks that they have been on that. And so that's giving them a little extra income, knowing that they have to come to work every single day, and they have the stress of going out in the workforce and getting things done. And we've just been very cognizant of the fact that there's a huge value in that. So anything that I can do that can help them increase their income obviously helps them become a little bit more loyal and increases the buy-in.
So we have done some similar things, and actually from your recommendation, Dan, when we first met about the split shifts. So we are now open a week, but we do have what we call 2 teams in place, and that is so we don't expose each other. We clean down everything when one shift leaves, so that the last thing we want is to have to close again if one of our team members get COVID. So
Amen.
We're trying to be able to do that. I'm continuing to pay my employees full time, even though they're only working part time. We're able to cultivate our team during all of this by, paying them during all of this. Nobody was let go, with the exception of a high school student or 2. But other than that, we also, I use the time off to have them take some courses, GIA courses, so which better educates them in our industry. And some of our employees have not been able to take the time to do it. I felt it was very important. It was an important time for a couple of my associates too, because they were ready to advance to getting some GIA degrees, which is from the Gemological Institute Association. So that was really important to us, because it will only further help our clients understand their purchases, with whether it be gemstones or diamonds. So that was a really good team cultivating act that we were able to establish during this time as well. And it's continuing, even though we're open, while they're only working part-time split shifts. They're able to go home and do some of that. So
I can add that the regulations they've put on us, that 16-page document it's nuts. Yeah. I mean, I have this on my desk from last night. It's cleaning log, individual workstations and area, and I'm like, my gosh,
that'll take us hours just to get that done, right?
Yeah, it's just crazy. But you have to do what you have to do, and we want to keep people safe. And we want to get through this so that we can get back to maybe business as usual someday.
I do want to remind everybody too, like what Dan brought up, that the guidelines for us through New York State, just to be clear, every business is required to go online to the New York Forward website and affirm that they've read the guidelines and that they have put in place a plan. There are templates available for businesses as they open. They have some now guidance for phase 3 reopening for indoor seating at restaurants as well as personal care businesses, which is nice that they got those up in advance of phase 3 opening, because phase 2, as I think we all know, was a bit of a mess with when the regulations were being posted and when we were told we were opening. But even businesses that were deemed essential right from the beginning are still required to follow those guidelines and to do the online affirmation. So a lot of businesses need to make sure that they get caught up on that. I know in the first few weeks of phase 1, there were only 11 businesses in Chemung County that had affirmed. So we were told to make sure we push that agenda. So we're doing that, but it is a lot. I know the chamber too, we have all kinds of logs now and procedures and protocols for when we're fully open. Again, right now staff is working a combination of remotely and on site, and the building is open by appointment. But yeah, it is tedious to say the least, but we're all going to get through it.
So just to clarify, Kamala, there is only one affirmation that we had to sign, correct? And that was at the end of the phase 1. They haven't come out with others that I've missed, have they?
No, it's for each phased in business specifically. So you go and look for, in your case, retail guidelines, and then it says once you've read these to click through and affirm that you've read them, and then that's the only thing you need to do. I think it's probably so that there's some liability protection for the state, and then it will come down to being the business's responsibility to say that they followed through, and then that's why we're being encouraged to have our plans on site to show that we've done the work. But yeah, there's only the one affirmation that you do. And I think when you do it, you can print the document that says it was completed.
Yeah, and if I can add, the one thing that we have to really be careful of is we have to document everything because of the contact tracing. If somebody has been exposed somewhere else and in the same day visits us, they're gonna find out they were at our shop, and they're gonna make sure that we have the logs and we have the procedures and the protocols that were followed. So chances are you'll never get anything looked at, but if something happens where somebody visits you that has been in contact with somebody who was tested positive, they're going to expect to see those daily logs.
And that's a good point. That's where you would really find an issue for your business, is if you couldn't back up saying that you've done everything that you were required to do, you could face some liability issues, and especially if you were a hotspot. So I think that's definitely why that's in place, which makes sense considering other regulations that come out of New York State are kind of have the documentation when and if something bad were to happen so that you can back up your business.
Correct.
Oh, and Emily posted the website in the chat. It's forward.newyork.gov. And the chamber sends out weekly emails to our membership, and we have a really in-depth resource page as well for all of your COVID-19 resources. So we encourage you to take advantage of those.
I saw too in the chat, just going back real quick to the team building, Julie Del Grosso had mentioned another way to cultivate team building and buy-in is to let your team be part of the decision making. We don't have to figure out everything by ourselves. Let's ask our people more often.
Definitely. Yeah.
Barry Nicholson had said a little bit back here in the chat, love the concept of partnering with other local businesses to get these crisis projects out there. Truly a pay it forward project, Dan. Well done.
Oh, thank you. Well, when you grow up in this area, when you get suspended in high school, like I did, and you know people over all these years, it's really cool to be able to pay it forward.
Yeah, I got suspended in high school. Not anything terrible, but it happens. It happened.
I'm just going to do one last quick call. If anyone else has any remaining comments or questions, and we can wrap things up.
Well, I was hoping to be able to tease JD about the little slip between Kay and Ray.
I'm really sorry about that.
Oh, no, you know, I was having fun with you.
Yeah.
Here you are back. Good.
Well, the Chamber would like to thank everybody for joining us. Thanks to our presenters and to all our participants. And we hope you all found this, this event to be inspiring, and hope you all have a great day.
Thank you for having us.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Pleasure to meet
So
you guys.
much.
Yeah,
We appreciate it.
Be blessed.
great. Thank you.